Yo, what is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome to episode 18 of the Arsenal Football Manager 2015 playthrough. Today I've got for you guys a live com against Chelsea. Hopefully you guys are good today. Last episode was a pretty long episode. If you missed it, I recommend you sit down and dedicate half an hour of your time to watch it. It was a pretty good one. Today we have, as I mentioned, the Chelsea game. Before that, just a quick rundown of the fixtures. Last episode I did a slightly longer rundown. It got a bit of a mixed response. I'm going to try and keep things a little bit briefer. But anyway, since the last episode, 3 games to tell you about, 3 wins, 3 convincing wins, all by 3 goals. So lots of threes. The first one here was a 3-0 win against West Brom. We demolished them. It was a massacre. You can see by the shots. It was ridiculous. The amount of chances in this game were huge. Still trying to rectify to some extent our kind of issues with regards to a seemingly lack of conversion, kind of from shooting opportunities to actually shots on target and goals, but nevertheless 46 shots in any game is impressive. Our next game was against bottom of the table Burnley. They actually put up a little bit more of a resistance than West Brom, but it was still not enough. Again, another 3-0 win. This one a pretty good result. You can see Depay or Memphis, Barbosa, Pogba all getting on the score sheet. And I'll tell you what I'm going to do really quickly, because Memphis Depay, if you don't know, he is called Memphis for all intensive purposes because I think he's got his dad's last name, but his dad isn't around. So I'm actually going to rename him Memphis now so that I don't keep calling him Depay or Depay or however you want to say it, because his name's Memphis. That's what's on the back of his shirt. Right. I should have done that a long time ago, and I know a lot of you guys have been nagging me in the comments, so there, we've done it now. But that was a good win against Burnley, and then the last result was actually in the Champions League. I mentioned last episode, the Champions League, not necessarily my priority this year. I'd much rather win the league than kind of, I guess, go for the Champions League. Just a personal thing. I kind of want to do it with Arsenal. Arsenal, of course, have never won the Premier League back-to-back years. In this game, we won 5-2. However, good to get 5 away goals, and it leaves us in a very good position going into the second leg, which is going to be at home. So anyway, today we have got the Chelsea game. We're at home for this, and our record against Chelsea is absolutely bloody awful. If I show you the past meetings here, we've won 1 of the last 4, and it was a 4-1 win. But when we've lost without scoring. So basically, if we score, we will hopefully win today. That's kind of the mentality I'm going with. If I show you the competitions real quick, you can see that right now we are in 2nd place. Chelsea are at the top of the table. They are 2 points ahead of us with better goal difference, and they have got a game in hand. So this game really, I feel like I've been saying this for the last 3 or 4 episodes, but this is another do-or-die game. It's a game which, if we win, it really gives us a good shout in terms of perhaps winning the league, although Chelsea would still be kind of slightly in control, given the fact they would still have a game in hand to leapfrog us. Anyway, before I get into today's game, we're going to look at some of the player stats. You can see a few of them here. I'll bring them up on this better page. So you can see here, looking at the top average ratings in the league, Aguero leading the way with a 7.68. He's been really impressive this year. In terms of our players, Raheem Sterling's there with a 7.48, which is great. Memphis as well with a 7.41. Looking at appearances, Tim Krul leads the way. A lot of goalkeepers there. We've obviously rotated our side a fair bit and also had injuries to our goalkeepers, which is why we don't have our own player there. In terms of the goal front, Aguero has 20 goals in total. He's been absolutely incredible on this save. You can see here 37 goals in 35 appearances in all competitions, including 14 goals in 6 games in the Champions League, which quite frankly is ridiculous. And then looking at the assists, you can see Hazard is leading the way. Sterling's up there though, which is good to see, and in terms of games won, we're also up there, so that's pretty decent. Looking at our squad in a little bit more detail, just so you guys can see exactly who's performing. In terms of appearances, our key men have been players like Szczesny, Belanta's played a lot, Pogba's played a lot, and Pogba has stepped up his game. Especially recently. You can see average rating in his last 5 is 7.42, of which a 7.19 across the season, and I believe about 3 months ago his average rating was below 7, so he really has rectified that in this second half of the season. Other key players to feature regularly, Khedira has been great for us. He's been a real rock at the back. Of course, we do lack a kind of backup, I guess, defensive centre mid, so he's really kind of made this role his own in the last 2 years, and you can see he's done a great job there, averaging a 6.04 average rating, or 7.04 average rating rather, but he's been vital for us there. Other players, Sterling's played well, Memphis. Mertezaka's played a fair bit. So is John Stones. We've kind of been rotating our team a fair bit. But all in all, some really top performances there. Looking at the goals front, Memphis does lead the way. Zivkovic, who's been scoring a load in Europe, has done well this year. He's actually developed a lot as a player as well, which is really good to see. And he's also broken into the Dutch first team. Other players here, Royce, Sterling, Sanchez, Giroud, kind of with 6 and 7 goals each. Since the update from the beta to the full game, there's certainly been kind of a change, I guess, in terms of the goal scoring capabilities of attacking midfielders. I kind of feel like we've perhaps felt that a little bit of an impact compared to last season. In terms of assists, you can see here Sterling, Sanchez, Januzaj, Memphis, Royce, the kind of players you'd expect to be the players setting up opportunities in our team. We are kind of blessed, I guess, with exceptional creative talent, and it's certainly on show when you read out some of those names there. Looking at the average ratings, John Stones actually top performer this year in all competitions. He's been fantastic for us, the English centre-back. He's now got 11 caps for England at the age of 21, which is fantastic. And we signed him for £17.5 million, of course, from Everton. And that is looking like money well spent. A 7.51 average rating in the league is absolutely incredible. Memphis as well has played really well. Of course, he is our top goal scorer. He's a player who we bought in to score goals this year, and he's really had an impact for us. 15 goals in 23 league games, and a 7.41 average rating really kind of, I guess, underlines that. So all in all, we have a very good squad in very good shape. No real injuries to tell you about. Gibbs, I guess, is the big one, which is a bit of a disappointment. He's going to be out very shortly. Or back very shortly, and then Fierro's been out with a double hernia, which, considering we bought him for 11 million in January, is a bit of a kick in the teeth. But we've still got kind of backups, I guess, in Barbosa and Giroud, who are more than capable of coming on and playing well for us. So the team that you can actually see on the pitch is the team that played for us in the Champions League game. I did make a few little kind of rotation changes just to kind of, I guess, keep our players fit. As a result, we can change things back now and really get what I consider to be probably our strongest 11 right now onto the pitch, which is a very strong starting 11 at that. This is the team I think I'm going to go with. I'm contemplating bringing in Januzaj and dropping Sanchez. We'll do that. So I'm going to play Sterling out on the right and then bring in Januzaj to play that centre mid role. Looking at the squad as a whole, you can see it's a pretty strong team. It's an incredible team, really, to say I've been at the club for about a year and a half now, to kind of have a team that, I'm going to be honest, is vastly changed, and it's not the Arsenal team I kind of inherited, I guess, off Wenger. But what I've done is I've tried to kind of form a team that's the best team I can create, really. It's weird, actually. You guys all know, if you've watched my YouTube videos for a while, I don't usually manage big teams. So kind of to have the opportunity here at Arsenal to, I guess, not necessarily build a dream team, but to certainly try out a few of the players in FM that I don't normally get the opportunity to kind of, I guess, explore and actually utilise, given the fact I'm managing in the lower leagues very often. It's been quite a refreshing experience, and I know that's something that people have criticised me for a little bit in the comments, but you know what, FM is designed to be played how you want to play. And looking at the bench, we do still have a majority of Arsenal players there. There's still 6 of them in our starting 18. So considering some of the kind of, what's the word, I want to say the refurbishments, but kind of the transformations I've done to teams in the past, to retain a third of the side is actually quite a lot by my standards. But anyway, this is the team, as I mentioned, I'm going to go with. Looking at the bench, I'm pretty happy with the players we have there, so we will submit that. Khedira will take the armband. That is absolutely fine. He has been a commanding leader there, and he has incredible mentals, Khedira. He's such a smart player, particularly given a lot of the younger players, particularly in our midfield that surround him. He's more than capable of kind of, I guess, holding the gap and kind of offering that defensive kind of solidity that we require. Looking at Chelsea's team here, you can see how they're lining up. They are playing a 4-2-1-2-1. Is that really the formation? It's more of a 4-5-1, really, or a 4-2 or 4-3-2-1. I don't really know how they're going to play here. It looks pretty defensive. Looks as if they're going to try and hit us on the break. So hopefully we can deal with the threat that they have. be interesting to see how their two defensive midfielders actually operate, considering we're not playing with a centre attacking mid, particularly to see how well they can pick up Januzaj's runs. But I'm going to tell my players here to get revenge. I kind of feel like looking at that shape, like we might have the edge. It just depends on how their two kind of centre defensive mids actually operate. If they push a little bit higher up, that might provide us with some issues, but all in all, I'm kind of optimistic that we can do something here. And of course, what is a must-win game. If we can also deal with Aspilicueta's long throws, which are incredible, and no one is closing down Aspilicueta, and he almost scores a screamer. That would have been embarrassing. So yeah, this is a huge game, as I mentioned. If we lose this, we'll basically be out of the title race unless Chelsea really slip up, which, to be honest, they've been throwing away a few points of late. Maybe we can get a goal here, and we can. Royce has scored. Well, I said at the start of this episode, when we've scored against Arsenal, we've won on that one occasion. Every time we've lost to Chelsea, we've not actually managed a goal. I think I just said Arsenal, I meant Chelsea. So hopefully that goal is a good sign. Looking at the kind of possession stat, we're actually having a lot more of the ball. We've also obviously scored, and we're having a lot more chances, which has kind of been a trademark of our game, I guess. But there's a corner here. We need to deal with set piece as well, and that is dealt only halfway out. Eden Hazard, he's cutting in. Cuadrado's there. It's another corner. I don't know if that was a block or what that was, but we need to defend here. Ball comes in. Get it out. Get it out. That will do. Memphis will pick that up. Maybe a chance of a counter. That is an incredible ball for Raheem Sterling. Can he do anything with it? He can't. Aspilicueta will tackle him. But nevertheless, that is a good sign. And we've got a chance here. Memphis. Chambers. Check. Saves it. Pretty open game. Few chances coming either way, as you can see now looking at the stats. But we're looking okay. We're in the lead, of course, but that can change very shortly. And Diego Costa has been a real trouble for us in these past games we've played against Chelsea. It kind of feels like every time we play Chelsea, Diego Costa's the one scoring. He's become the player on this year's FM so far who appears to be the one who's kind of out there to ruin my day. I feel like every year in FM, and you guys will probably have your own FM players who, I don't know, when you see them on the opposition score sheet, you just know they're going to score against you. They just seem to always do it. For me, Diego Costa's that man this year. He scored a lot. As I've mentioned, we've struggled against Chelsea. Januzaj, where are you going from kickoff? He just runs straight out. That was mad. But yeah, Diego Costa, hopefully he's going to have a quiet day today. Although another set piece here, ball in, and it's gone out for a corner. Chelsea having a fair few chances, and that's another chance. And how's that gone out? I think they kicked it over from 6 yards. I don't really know. That was weird. Anyway, half an hour left on the clock. Let's make a change or two here. Are any players looking particularly tired? Pogba a little bit in the box-to-box midfielder role. Let's bring in Wiltshire there. Maybe he can give us a little bit of what's the word? A little bit. What's the word? I don't know what the word is. I want him to add some hunger. He's a local lad. He knows how much this match against Chelsea means in terms of a competitive match that any Arsenal player or fan wants to win. Anyway, I'm going to also take off Memphis and bring on Giroud. I want Giroud to be a bit more of an outball. The reason for this being is I'm actually going to change up the system just a little bit, and we're going to play a little bit more direct and drop a little bit deeper. So I'm looking for Giroud's physical presence to be of use to us here. Although right now Chelsea are on the break, and that is shocking by Marcelo. Oh dear. Well, Diego Costa scored. It was in the script. I'd predicted it. And we drop down to second. And now Oscar with a chance. And they've scored the rebound of the free kick. Wow. Well, Chelsea make it 2-1. That's heartbreaking. And frustrating. Because we were 1-0 up. We were looking good. We've made a few tactical changes on Sunday. The game's been turned on its head. And this reminds me of the Man City game in terms of we just need to switch off. I don't know why. I don't know how. But we should not be conceding this late against Chelsea. Granted, Chelsea are a good side. They probably have the better squad and the best squad in the Premier League. But we have some very good players of our own, and they should be capable of really holding their own here. Diego Costa's through. Marcelo clears off the line, but it's one defensive lapse from Marcelo that's let them get that first goal, and suddenly there's just been a huge momentum shift. you can kind of just see it. It's huge. The kind of impact that it's had. We have 4 minutes to make something count. I'm gonna switch our inside forwards to attack and just, hope that we can get something really pushing forward. At this point, I'm not exactly anticipating us to grab a goal, but I'm going to try and do everything in my power to do so. So that is going to mean going route one, pushing a much higher defensive line, and pumping ball into box, and then shoot on sight. We're just going to basically try and plough the ball into their penalty area for the last 4 minutes of the game. And if we get something, we get something. If we slip up, we slip up. At this point, a draw really isn't exactly enough. I mean, it would be okay. It's not going to happen, I don't think. And that's annoying because this was a very winnable game. And I didn't want to go to contain because we are at home. And the other thing is, if we start playing contain and we start wasting time and we start dropping deeper, we allow Chelsea to play their football. And I wanted us to play our own style. And to be honest, as I mentioned, it was that one defensive lapse by Marcelo, who probably wouldn't even be starting, despite him being probably our best left back. Kieran Gibbs is a player who I've turned to in that position because he's been more reliable. And unfortunately, Gibbs is out injured. Marcelo's played, and he's proven to be a liability, unfortunately, for us. And we've lost a game that we really had to win, which hurts. Because I wanted to get the back-to-back titles with Arsenal. I think that game might just kind of end any hopes to that. If we look at the competitions, you can see here, Chelsea, 5 points clear. They've got a game in hand. They can make that 8 points. I mean, 8 points in 10 games isn't unheard of. But realistically, we've missed a real opportunity there to close the gap. It might be our only way back in that game, and we've let it slip. But anyway, we've got to look onwards and upwards. We are still in the Champions League, so perhaps we can do something there. The next episode I'm going to be bringing you guys will be the Manchester United game or the Champions League quarter-final second leg, or maybe the first leg. I'm not really decided yet, but it will be that Man United game. Hopefully we can advance in the Champions League because we are in such a great position after the first leg. Of course, if you guys want to see that episode, you will have to stick around to find out. You can hit the subscribe button to do that. As always, if you've enjoyed the video, smash the like button. Really does help me out, guys. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Your support on this series is as always appreciated. And I'll talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.